Yikes is on the beat.
All right. We are back in the building, man. Another episode of the Duval podcast, baby. We in the building with
yes,
it.
sir.
How we feeling today, dog?
Man, we feeling good. We watching Game 5 right now.
We watching Game 5 off screen, man. But
good, man.
you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we back in the building for another week.
Yes.
Took a few weeks off. There wasn't really much going on. We had a ton of content, just kind of dropping here and there. But we back in it, man. We got some stuff going on. We got mini camp. We got the Jaguars dropping the new practice facility. No, not the practice facility. The new stadium, and the plans for that, like that was like a national league-wide thing that we haven't had in Jacksonville in a while. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Major exposure, right?
Yeah.
So you got that, and then you got mini camp. You had veteran mini camp today, mandatory mini camp, but Doug Marrone.
Please not
Doug Marrone. Doug Peterson.
Please not Mr. Marrone.
Made it not mandatory for the guys. So, you know, we're on that front there. So there's a few things going on. There's a few things to talk about. A few articles. Yep. Mark had pulled up. You know, he's the article guy.
Man, I got an article for y'all. I got an article for you. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So let's talk about how did you feel when the stadium renovations came out kind of late last? What was that, Friday? Was that Friday?
Was it Friday? It might have been Friday.
Friday, yeah. Friday. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, y'all. By the way, go catch up my clip of the reaction. I couldn't really go into how how I was really feeling like I wanted to, but man, like
we put So the clip of that is on our Instagram page, the Duval Podcast.
Yes.
On Instagram.
Oh man, so. Denver 12-5. Yeah, man. When I saw the stadium, man, I was just I think, this phrase gets used often, but breath being taken away, type shit.
I've never felt like that, bro.
Like, I'm like, bro, like, that's going to be in our city? Like, type shit. Like, it, just not only for the Jaguars, but, like, just the whole city as a whole, like, what that's going to do as far as, just what it brings to the city in the entertainment value, as far as a product, as far as football. Maybe future Super Bowls coming back, all that type, man.
Yep.
It's going to be crazy, bro. And it just one thing real quick, man. I know they, they're extending the concourse. I'm like, man, like where are they getting all this space from, bro? Like the concourse luxury, like little suite sections finna be crazy, bro.
Out,
like it's finna be dummy, bro.
They went all the way out.
It's finna be dummy. Like I said that in the text last week, bro. Like, hands down, this has to be, the best stadium in the league right now, bro.
Yes, sir.
Like, when it's finally built, it would be the best stadium in the league. Like, it's a mixture of SoFi, and I saw somewhere SoFi and Allegiant. I definitely saw SoFi, but, yeah.
SoFi, bro, I saw SoFi when I saw the stadium, bro, for sure.
Yeah.
I was really just like taken back, man. I was just like, wow, like what really struck me, like, so the design struck me, yes, like the big kind of spaceship looking thing, but the development around the stadium and like their dedication to like they said, okay, part of this deal is not just the stadium, it's the surrounding areas, the out east neighborhood.
Yeah, they're putting money into putting money back into the hood, man.
Yeah, so eventually they want to go up even further, like a few blocks back in out east, which is amazing.
The historic district in Jacksonville.
So I think
forgotten neighborhood.
No, just knowing that that's going to happen, I think is kind of has to put a little fire under people. Like, hey, maybe we need to go try to find some property, on the east side, or maybe we need to go find something downtown, because downtown it's gonna come.
Oh yeah.
And at a certain point, it'll be unattainable for certain folks.
Man, think about just from the outside world perspective, like how many people actually just shit on Jacksonville, bro, and people in the city as well shit on.
Oh, for sure.
Like come on, like we've all had our moments, or whatever.
Man, Jacksonville ain't nothing.
Right, man. But you gotta love it, like you said, like building up out east, and all the future developments, like the 5-star hotels, and extending like the walking area or whatever. Like they had like little steps going up and stuff like that, man.
Bruh.
It's gonna be nice,
bro.
Like the whole experience, coming downtown, like I don't think you go downtown unless it's something, revolving around the stadium, and then
That's
of
right.
course that's going to branch off to other
Bro,
businesses.
it's just like
and
it's
stuff.
just gonna be, but it's one of those things where it's like, when right before the gold rush happened, like you knew the gold rush was coming, but that guys, if you're thinking about investment, if you haven't had really even thought about doing an investment,
Yeah.
anything that you touch downtown, if you have a vision for it, you need to do it soon because pretty soon there's tons of institutional investors that see that and they're like, you know what,
Yeah.
we need to
They're
go
gonna
buy
wrap
we
it,
need to go buy up everything that's
Yeah.
available, all this open free land, we need to go get it.
and
and,
they're
and
gonna
just
sell
sit-
it back to y'all.
Yeah, sell it back and just
for
sit
the
on
cheap,
it.
For the
Yeah,
expensive.
they're not even gonna sell it back. They're gonna build these really nice condos on it,
Yeah.
and then have you rent it.
For the expensive.
Yeah, for the high, and by the time that gets down there, and everything else, I mean, it's gonna be shiny. There's gonna be bro.
I'm sure there'll be like shopping centers, all that stuff.
It's just gonna that blows my mind, bro.
Man, like Jacksonville, bro, we've always talked about how we needed this in this city, man, and
Yep.
we finally have a guy. I won't say it's just him, probably his whole family. Shoot,
Yeah.
but man, Shad Khan, he really invested in this city, man, and
He really
he said he was gonna do it, and
Yeah.
maybe it took a little longer than maybe we expected. But
Yeah. And now you
He
realize
showed
if you don't have
improvement.
if you don't have an owner that really has influence or really is really good at kind of getting deals done and stuff like that. I mean, I guess at this point with the NFL, like it's just kind of the brand. It's like everyone wants to
brand kinda
attach
sells
themselves
itself,
to the
but-
brand, right? And you can pretty much just go and you have a whole league of owners where you can bounce stuff off of them and be like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, our developer did this or whatever you want to say, right? So I just think just what they came up with was just like,
It's crazy, bro.
like, so I'm excited. We'll be doing our tailgates down there.
Man,
We got
I
us a
hope
little
we
lot.
could be in the
we
stadium
we
doing
got
it.
us. We got us a little lot down there, and naming coming soon.
Yeah.
Naming coming soon.
Yeah.
Got a name in mind, but we're not gonna drop that yet. But there'll be some sick tailgates even this season. But I can only
Yes.
imagine in a few years,
stadium up,
like
yeah.
what we'll be able to do and maybe even reinvest and
Yeah,
do something
for real,
bigger.
for real.
So
But I think that's a good segue into maybe future plans of where the Jaguars will be playing their home games.
I was just thinking that. Yep.
So I saw they reached out to Daytona International Speedway.
Yep.
For possibilities. I know, like back in the day, like they used to host like football games and whatnot. Big stadium. But how do you feel if the Jaguars have to leave Jacksonville for a couple seasons? Because I think the other option is like they just work on the stadium in the off season.
Yeah.
But I think that takes. I think that'll take them longer, like 2 more extra years.
Yeah.
To finish the whole thing.
And they're really showing like they got a picture here. If you guys go on the Daytona Beach News Journal, it has a picture of how many sports stadiums can fit inside of the Daytona 500. Like pretty much all of them. All of the sports stadiums can fit inside of.
That's crazy.
Like so.
But I believe that though. It's huge.
Just to kind of see the scale
huge.
of like how many people you could actually
That's
pack
huge.
in. Like
It's huge.
even
People
if
would come.
yeah,
to Daytona,
people
bro.
would come, bro, from Daytona. From you're that much closer from Orlando. You're
And the
an hour
Jaguars
away.
did a good job in the last
Yeah.
few years, really building up that market. Because
I think
I don't
that's
think they,
central. That's an hour
Yeah.
from an
people
hour
would
south.
definitely come. But,
Yeah,
but
I'd drive an hour.
I would definitely drive too. But there's gonna always be those.
Even a
like,
tailgate.
of course.
Yeah.
But like even those hardcore diehard fans, there's always gonna be that gripe. But
Right.
I don't. I honestly would prefer that, just because I want the stadium being done
Yeah.
sooner.
2 years. I definitely want that done.
If
If you're saying you can get it done quicker and you just go to Daytona, and I think Daytona, like they would probably even be willing to. Just
it's
depends
right off
on,
the interstate.
It just depends on when, like how often do they have races that would interfere with the season,
Yeah.
like stuff like that. But I think they would probably just bump, like they would bump them for the NFL,
Yeah, We definitely don't know like NASCAR season and all that stuff. But I think it would work itself out, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's too many events in Daytona, and they're definitely not using the grass like too much like that. So
yeah, they're not using. I
mean,
think that pretty much solves it. Like you're not using the grass at all. So
yeah, like I think they do like little spray or
They
whatever.
they have the pit row or whatever, but other than that, so and you could definitely fit 100-yard football field in the middle.
But
I didn't even think of that's really genius. Whoever thought about that.
Yeah,
sure.
like I think Dad. I don't want to quote you wrong, Dad, but I believe like they used to play the Florida Classic in at the Speedway too.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, like I would definitely prefer that option. Like I could sacrifice 2 seasons, man. Like worst case scenario, man, I have no problem watching the game on TV.
Right. I mean, most of the time we do that anyway.
Yeah,
so
man. So like y'all, Shy, if we have any influence, like just
to do the quick option.
Just
bro.
do the quick option.
Get it over with,
man,
and
everything else will figure itself out
Yeah.
as far as like the shipyard, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah.
and I think they'll have so by the time all that's done, everything will kind of be done together.
And like
So
that would all coincide.
They're already working on the 4 seasons, so
Yeah.
that'll be done. That the shipyards project I think will be done even before they start, even before they break ground on the stadium. So,
It's gonna be crazy, bro.
it's super exciting. But all right, yeah. So that's the stadium. We're super pumped about that. Let's move into mini camp. So mandatory mini camp was today.
Josh Allen came back.
Yep, and Josh Allen was in the building. The rest of the veterans were pretty much excluded from participation, but you did have some veterans in there, a lot of the rookies. And it really just looks like, just from the pictures on News for Jacks, it just looks like Josh Allen was just pretty much just getting his feet wet again and just kind of running through a little bit of drills. Yep. I don't think from him, with him coming back like that, I don't think it was a situation of holding out.
Obviously. I think it was all a mutual understanding.
I think he was just like, look, I'm getting older. I'm not trying to be there for every single little thing that's going on.
Yeah.
I've earned it.
Good thing it's not the Tom Coughlin era. He would have been fine crazy for non-mandatory. But yeah, I definitely think it was like a mutual thing, and I'm glad he's not holding out. That's a different type of conversation as far as like getting his money and all that stuff.
I mean, I really think he's got to go into a prove it year. Like,
yeah.
I think he's a great player. I don't know where he ranks like as far as outside linebackers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's probably a top 10, top 15 outside linebacker. I would say top 15 maybe. But production-wise, production just ain't there.
Yeah.
There's times where he can take over part of a game, but like it's not consistent. Yeah. Like you'll take over part of a game. Like why can't you just take over the game?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's more of what they're looking for, and maybe year 2 in the Mike Caldwell scheme can kind of help him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, man, like Josh Allen is really like a hard player like to judge, because I really want him to be like a real core piece to the defense, man.
Right.
We don't have many names on the defense, and he's one of those recognizable names. And like he said, he could take over a game quickly.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying, as far as his disruptiveness and all that stuff. But, like, we just haven't seen it enough. He's been lost. Like, it's sometimes I forget he's even playing.
Pass rush moves, bro. Between him and Trayvon,
like,
I mean, it was you've had some disappointing moments,
like
for sure.
With the number 1 overall pick and Trayvon, and what was Josh? Maybe number 8, number 10, something like that. For Arden Key and Smoot and Devon Hamilton, who were all 5th to 6th to 7th round picks.
Yeah,
I think Arden Key might have been like a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
But when those guys are your best D linemen, I think that's a little alarming.
Yeah.
But we clearly see the potential in Josh Allen. But I think he's definitely run out of the potential excuse.
He's run out of the benefit of the doubts.
Yeah,
right.
Like is what he is, which I strongly believe that. Which That's not a bad thing. He's
you think he is what he is, and but
he's a good
maybe,
player.
But maybe we compensate him like that.
Yeah, he should. I don't think he's in a position. Well, I mean, he clearly is, but I don't think realistically he's in a position to ask for like
leverage,
big money. Like we could trade you for compensate. Like like maybe
we could just do a by committee and get the same production.
Yeah,
right.
Like you're basically giving us 6 to 7 sacks a year, which we need it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But
that's replaceable. We need like you don't win Super Bowls with
6 to 7 sacks guys.
No, not at all.
Maybe you have 2 or 3 of those guys.
And if you got a Mahomes and you definitely need some sack guys because he's not going anywhere for a long time. So
man, we could have had Aiden Hutchinson.
What do you think? They said Trayvon's big year is coming. So
I hope so. We've been saying that about Josh. Like I'm not saying he's Josh Allen or anything like that, but we've been saying that about Josh too. So, and Aiden proved it in his rookie year for the most part. So
how many sacks did he have? Do you think? I think he had probably 7 or 8.
He probably had like 7 or 8. He had like 3 interceptions.
Finished product, but I don't think I still don't think he's hit his.
He could get way better.
I think he could be. I think he could be a 12 to 15.
He could be like a Josh. He could be. I was going to say a Josh Watt. I was going to say maybe a JJ Watt type of guy because he's kind of that frame.
Similar build, like 6'6", 6'7". Yeah.
This game's
oh my gosh, we're sitting here watching this Denver game, and Denver just tied it up, man. It's getting crazy here.
So I think it's time I get into one of my good little articles real quick.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it. What you got?
So, like just to dress it up for the audience, I'm a habitual NFL.com reader.
Okay.
Or whatever. Like I like the top 10s. Like it's always interesting to me because I like to see how that translate into what I see. Right. You know what I'm saying? Not to say I have the best eye for talent or whatever, but I feel like I know football pretty good. To, see if somebody's good or not.
I think we've been pretty good on that. Yeah.
So this list that caught my eye is a next gen stat list. It's top 10 coverage players of 2022.
Okay. Top 10 coverage. Okay.
So,
bro, Reggie Jackson plays for Denver.
I feel like he ain't been playing for.
Nah, he hasn't. But I just saw him on the bench. But
anyways, what was it? Next gen stats top 10 coverage players in 2022. Would you be surprised if I told you 2 Jaguar players were on that list?
I would 2. 2 I would.
2.
One I wouldn't probably be.
If you could
top 10.
Top 10. One's number 9.
This is coverage grade. This is by grade. This isn't by any favoritism.
No, this I don't see particular coverage Pro Football Focus type grade or whatever, but they're basing it off of passer rating allowed, catch rate allowed below expectation,
gotcha,
tight window percentage,
following
target rate, average separation, and targeted expected points added, which those are next level type shit. But which is why next gen stats are called that. But anyways, I'll tell you a couple usual suspects.
Yep.
They got he's surprising. Carlton Davis from the Bucks.
Okay.
Surprise again, Christian Fulton from the Titans.
Carlton Davis from the Bucks. Are we going number by number?
No, I'm just saying just some.
These are some of the names in the top 10. Okay.
Jonathan
Christian
Jones.
Fulton is kind of an interesting one. I guess I need to pay attention to his game more.
Jonathan Jones from the Patriots.
Okay. The return guy.
I'm always confused because I think about the guy.
Marcus Jones.
I always get confused because there was another Jonathan Jones that played for them that went to Bama, I believe, that also played corner. But I don't think I definitely don't believe that's the same guy. But anyways, yeah. I think he returned. So they have Jair Alexander, Ryan Neal. I'm actually surprised Ryan Neal's on here from Seattle.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Bam Adebayo, he's giving me kind of like superstar vibes.
He's giving me, but he'll give me a game like this, but and then be mid the next game.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead.
Kadir Ka'u from the Dolphins.
No.
Sauce Gardner.
Okay.
And then James Bradbury. James Bradbury was number 1 on the list. Sauce was number 2.
Wow. By coverage grade.
Yeah. Okay. And then so I'll go back to the 2 Jaguars. Coming in at number 9 was Darius Williams.
Wow. And that's wow. And that's so funny because that's not surprising to me, to people who know football. I mean, the dude, they were locked down towards the end of the season. They weren't giving up anything, and he probably played some of his best ball in the playoffs. Yeah. And they gave him every opportunity to win the KC game. So, I mean, that makes sense to me. But top 10, I wouldn't have called it. No.
So I'll say just a couple notes from like his little paragraph under here.
Yep.
So they say Williams's catch rate allowed below expectation was the second best of any player inside of that top 10 list.
Wow.
Trailing only Philadelphia's James Bradbury in that statistic.
Wow. Proof is in the pudding.
But another of note, his numbers are strange. This is what NFL.com said. His numbers are strange and that he allowed one of the best catch rates below expected at 12.2%, posted a tight window rate of 26.5%, and recorded 16 pass defended, yet finished with a targeted EPA of 11.7, despite surrendering only 1 touchdown as the nearest defender. I don't know what any of that means, but I kind of assumed like he had a higher catch rate allowed on him.
I think that's above my pay grade.
Yeah. Like I said, he had a high catch rate, but he wasn't allowing a lot of.
He wasn't allowing a lot of yards, basically.
And then
he was getting dinked and dunked.
Yeah. He was getting caught on, but they weren't big plays. Right. They weren't big plays. So he was number 9 on that list. And then Tyson Campbell was number 4 on the list.
Wow.
He's number 4 on the list.
And they had him, and I saw him on a Pro Football Focus thing also as top 5.
And it's crazy. He ended up being responsible for 6 touchdowns being scored on him as the nearest defender.
Yep.
Which they said would typically tank a player's targeted EPA. But, he was just that good in coverage that, he demanded respect, basically. Yeah. Like, they didn't throw his way not too many times. And pretty much, he's playing the number 1 receiver. So, they're going to get theirs. Yeah. If they're, that guy.
And I think, man, and he was a second-round pick. So I think that's plus, you know what I mean?
I think for me, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
For me, man, I didn't have high expectations for him coming out of Georgia. I was surprised that he was picked. That high, what was he, like the second pick?
He was
in the
like
second
33rd.
round.
Yeah, I think he was like
or maybe the first
pick in the second round, 33rd.
So I was surprised.
Had number 1 overall. Yeah.
I was surprised when he got picked up high, and I was like, man, I don't know. He might be another.
Yeah.
Just athlete. That's how I pictured him. Just an athlete. You gotta mold himself into a corner, which he did.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he did at this rate.
Man, because
he was so raw coming out.
You remember he couldn't find the ball.
He couldn't turn around and find.
He was there, but he couldn't find the ball to save his life.
I was so frustrated. I was like, here we go. And but you could see the growth in him. Man. Yeah, you could see the growth in him.
But that's so simple to fix. Just when you see you're playing the guy. He did a ton of face guarding, and I think maybe that's a product of being in college. Yeah. They do a ton of that, and then you can get away with it. And but in the league, you got to turn back for the ball, and you got to play the ball. And I think that will lead to a lot more turnovers. So it's more, but that comes with time and more of a feel thing, right? Yeah. More of a feel, and then he has one of the best corner coaches in Deshae Townsend.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I love that he's on our coaching staff. The position coaches aren't going to get this.
Too. He was on their staff. Yeah.
like the position coaches don't always get the shine, man. But like guys like that's proven. I think he has
Jaguars
a
have
ring.
quality, bro.
Yeah, like I really love that. And just to add on to that point about Tyson, you have a good secondary coach. You have a good, other option on the other side as far as Darius Williams, and then you have an up and coming safety in Andre Cisco.
Yeah.
Like, man, like.
And I'm not gonna write off.
Rayshawn.
No, I'm not writing off Rayshawn. Yeah,
I think
that's a sick.
yeah,
That's a sick.
I don't think he has quite the turnover, like the turnovers he got last year. But I think he showed he was a player.
Yeah.
He showed he was a player, man.
Yeah.
I respect that with him. Maybe he's not the top safety in the league, but he does his job. He does his job. They ask him to bang.
Man, he
be banging.
But he played up, bro, last year.
Bro,
Like,
he had to be like one of the top safeties in the league.
The pick to end the Dallas game. Like he would. I can't really say like there was a ton more safeties like in prime time moments
That can make
better
that
than
play,
him that was making the play. You know what I'm saying?
The strip set that he saved our season a couple of times, a couple of times down the stretch or whatever.
Yeah.
The Cowboy game, the Tennessee game,
And he was a ball hawk when he played for the Chargers. So it's like him and Cisco.
I mean,
they can do it. Cisco can hit. He can hit. They can cover. They can both cover.
Cisco. I think what clouded me about race, and maybe we should give him a pass because that was with Herbs, but he was just so I don't know, he was just so extra like that first year or whatever, like the taunting penalties and getting smoked and all that stuff.
I think that we're gonna get a ton more sacks this year. Because our secondary is going to be really.
I think our
really
linebackers
tight.
are going to be good. Too.
Our linebackers will be good. Lloyd will be a year better. I think we were really raw last year on defense. We were young and raw on defense. I think what Doug Peterson and them saw was like, we don't really need to add a whole lot. We don't need to add a whole lot.
Yeah, not the extra. Just play ball.
We need to develop our guys and make them better. They were all
put them in the right position.
All high picks.
Yeah. Right position.
Roy Robertson Harris played great last year. We got Adam Gotts is back. Got a great rotation. You got Devon Hamilton. You got, it sounds like Smoot's going to come back at some point.
At the beginning of last year, would you say you wanted half of those guys back?
No, not at the beginning. No, but towards the end, like
seeing
how stout Devon Hamilton was against the run, like
man, look, he stepped up his game on a whole nother level.
That dude stepped up. That was a good move. That dude stepped up. That dude stepped up his game though, like big time.
He made our defense stout, like in the middle. Bro.
Like when you knew what he could be, like how big he is and how strong he is, it's like, come on, bro.
It got to a point where nobody could run on us.
Just plug all that up, bro. Like easy. Yeah. And now he's like immovable in the middle. So and he gives you a little bit of plus side with a little bit of pass rush. So, I think it's great. I love him and I love Roy because they're both kind of big nasty player. Roy's a nasty player.
I love how Roy
plays,
bro. But yeah, man, like
I saw him at the town center a few weeks ago. Good guy.
I think I'd be seeing like I'm so out of the loop with guys now. Yeah. I think I'd be seeing guys, but I'd be like, bro, this might be a big regular guy.
This might be a big regular dude. Yeah,
big regular YMCA guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But with all that being said. Man, like I'm just so excited, man, about this team, man. Like every time we talk about it, man.
Yeah. I think we're pumped, man. I think we're ready. I think we're ready for the team to start, ready to get in training camp because training camp starts next month, so it's right around the corner. We're we're probably 6 weeks out from training camp.
Yep.
And the season's right around the corner, so we'll be getting going.